When you see somebody who says, I want to get in shape, I want to make a lot of money, I want to travel the world, oftentimes you see that those kinds of people may flake out. This is called the middle problem. And it's a dangerous place to be because this is where we see most people often stray from their goals. Humans need stress. It's actually a good thing for us. The pain and regret is one of by far the worst things we can experience in this game we call life. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Outliers podcast. My name is Ishan, and I'm the co-founder of Paragon, a six-figure agency for creators and brands. I have been working in the social media space for about 6 years now, and today's episode is going to be one of the most important episodes I ever make. This subject is something I personally struggled with for the first 20 or so years of my life, and only recently have I applied these methods to my life, and man, let me just say, words cannot describe how much this has improved my overall mental and physical well-being. Today, we're going to be going over goal achieving and how to actually get to your goals, no matter how big or small they are, or an alternate, more sexy title, how to get anything you want in life. I hope you do stick around for this whole episode to absorb all this information. However, I will be providing timestamps down below, so if you like to skip around to any particular tool or section that I maybe applies to your life where you may need it more, feel free to skip around. However, if there's one section that you can skip to, or if you only have time to listen to one section, I will say listen to the last one. It's about consistency, and it's by far the most important. So if there's any section that would say, you're willing to just get through this video, or maybe you have a short attention span, like the rest of the world currently, then just listen to that one section and I would be satisfied with this. However, I will say that this entire episode will help you drastically if you struggle in any sort of capacity in today's episode. Before we get into this, I just want to highlight the sections we're going to be going over. So in this episode, we'll be going over how to actually choose a goal, what kind of goals you should chase, the psychology of goal setting. I will also be exposing a couple of common myths that people believe about goal setting, such as accountability and visual reminders, which is some of the probably most relevant data we have, where people are using these two kind of common myths, I would say, to help them achieve their goals, but they're not actually the most productive, as I'll mention later on. I'll also be going over time blocking, the middle problem, tools to help you stay focused, and last but certainly not least, the power of consistency. The power of consistency, which is the one I do hope that everyone sticks around to listen to, as I do believe it is probably the most important out of this whole episode. I would like to say, if you like this episode or if you enjoy it all, please subscribe on YouTube. And one quick note before we begin, if you hear me saying according to scientific literature, I will provide the documents for that below, as well as references from other professors and doctors who I've listened to on this subject. I spent weeks on this episode preparing. I have literally 37 pages of documents that I've gone through. Not only that, but I'll have pages I've written just specifically for this episode. So we're going to go very in-depth into this. And if you see me looking around, I have a couple monitors here and there to help me reference notes, as this is going to be quite the episode. So I need to have visual reminders as well as stuff on my laptop and down below, so I can kind of remind myself where I'm at and help provide the best information to you guys as possible. Now, without further ado, let's get into goal achieving, or as some would say, how to get anything in life. The first thing we're going to get into is goal setting and choosing a priority goal. Now, the first question you need to ask yourself is, which specific goal are you going to work towards? Now, the reason why this is important is because people who try to achieve many goals at once oftentimes end up failing all of them. And this is called the overall approach. When you see somebody who says, I want to get in shape, I want to get my life together, I want to make a lot of money, I want to travel the world, a bunch of things. Oftentimes, you see that those kinds of people may flake out or they may flame out as they try to pursue their goals. And the reason is, when you try to do too many goals at once, it's often hard to nail one. And I will go into this a little bit later, but I want you to focus on choosing a priority goal. And, when most people think of the word priority, they think of it as plural, priorities. I need to do this. This is my priority list. This is what I need to do. We hear it all the time, and we need to get priorities in order, stuff like that. However, for goal setting, we just need to focus on the singular word priority, just one goal. And how you choose that goal is up to you. But imagine a team. This is why I love sports. And I will be referencing quite a lot of sports references, I guess, here and there, as this is a way for me to kind of give an analogy to certain aspects. So I hope you guys understand them. If not, I will try to provide different types of context for this. But just use this as an example, basketball, right? The goal in basketball is to win, or more specifically for like an NBA team to win the championship, right? And for every team in the league, that is their main priority. That is their one goal, is to win. No matter what it costs, is to win, right? That's their one goal. Now, underneath that, there are an umbrella of little goals and things that they need to do to be able to win, such as shooting the ball very well, rebounding. Somebody needs to play defense. Somebody needs to get stronger, moving side to side, right? There are a lot of little things. You need a good coach. There are a lot of little things that you need to be able to get to that one goal. But the priority goal is there. They all understand that at the end of the day, we want to win this championship. So how can we break that down further to reach that one main priority goal, right? And that's kind of where you want to choose as well. You want to have that one goal, that one thing. Maybe it's, I want to run a 6-minute mile, right? Let's use that as an example. I want to run a 6-minute mile. Now, when you're running a 6-minute mile, you have to do cardio. You're going to have to lose maybe some weight, depending on where you are in your fitness status. You're going to need to train often. You're going to need to work on your diet. There's a lot of different things that you're going to need to do. But your main goal is to run that 6-minute mile, right? And you're going to train continuously until you can hit that goal. So whether it's your business or your life or an athletic feat, whatever it may be, you want to choose that one thing that's going to drive you every single day, that one priority goal. And then maybe you can, as you succeed on that, move on to another one, or maybe add another one once you feel like you've achieved that goal. Another part of goal setting is choosing hard goals. Now, some people may not understand this as well as some other people, but, choosing hard goals is extremely important part about goal setting. See, there's this thing called neuroplasticity, right? And it's in our brains, and I will go into it a little bit later, but I'm going to tell you a story real quick about about choosing hard goals. There's this one guy in my coffee shop, and he was sitting next to me, and I was just working, and I could hear him and his friend conversating next to me about how he's setting goals, he would achieve them, He would try to run, or not run, he would try to work out, 6 times a week, and he was able to do that. Then he was saying how in his life and, for work, he was struggling to keep up, and he can never really finish, any projects within his work, and how he struggled to maintain with his fellow coworkers. And he was telling his friend, he's like, I always need a break, they always ahead of me, blah, 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 whatever it was. And I was thinking to myself, this is the reason why you need to choose hard goals. See, just showing up every single day isn't enough, right? His goal was to go to the gym 6 days a week, and he was able to do that. Now, how hard did he train there is another question. I don't know the answer, but, just showing up is not a hard enough goal. It doesn't trigger the part of our brain that says, I need to really fully dive into this. Before I go too in depth into this, I want to give you guys a little bit of human psychology so you can kind of understand why it's so important to choose a hard goal. And the reason being is that humans need stress. It's actually a good thing for us. Obviously not to the point where it's detrimental to your health, but hard stress is really good. And when we are able to overcome that stress, whether it's running the 6-minute mile or passing your final exam or impressing your boss, maybe at work, you'll feel more satisfied with yourself than if you just sat at home and didn't try but still got by. So the message here is that stress is important to a point. Obviously, be healthy and be safe, but stress is really important when we're trying to set a goal. And through scientific literature, we were able to discover how difficult your goal is will determine whether you achieve it or not. Most people believe that if you set an easy goal, you'll achieve it. And that may be true. It may be so easy that you are able to achieve it. However, that is not always the case. And here are some pretty interesting facts that will help back up the statement. If a goal is too easy to achieve, it does not stimulate the part of our brains, such as the amygdala, that gets people into the actions to be consistent with that goal. And what that means is, let's break it down. So some science you can further understand why this is so important is, in order to learn something new, we must make our nervous system somewhat uncomfortable. I'm sure you hear this saying pretty often, that everything you want is on the other side of being uncomfortable. And that is 100% true. I would go in depth into this later on in the episode, but that statement is 100% true. Everything you want in life is on the other side of being uncomfortable. And like I said earlier, I'm not trying to say go into a state of pure uncomfortableness where, you're not able to function, but we need to struggle for our brain and body to learn. And this is part of the reason why cold subs work so well. There's a bunch of scientific evidence and YouTube videos that you guys can go watch on that specific topic. It's great for you guys. If you have not tried it, I would recommend trying it. But in your pursuit of your goal, you're going to experience many emotions, roadblocks such as anxiety, frustration. Oh my God, none of this is going to work. I'm spending so much time on this. I'm stressing out. You're going to experience short-term failure. But believe it or not, all these things are actually very beneficial to you. The reason being is they enable the brain to shift into neuroplasticity. And that's what I brought up earlier. The ability of the nervous system to change and its activity in response to intrinsic or extrinsic stimuli by reorganizing its structure, functions, or connections after injuries or stresses. Yes, I just read that definition, just so you guys can give it more perspective. A short definition is they give it the ability to change and adapt, right? These stresses allow your brain and the way your neurons work inside of your body the ability to change and adapt to necessary stress when needed, so that the next time you need it, let's say you achieve your goal and it was extremely hard the first time. This is why it's so easy for people in business that succeed the first time. You see them getting into different ventures and succeeding just like a lot faster, is because their bodies were able to adapt to that stress, and they learned how to adapt to situations and also pick up information to help them shift into the next thing. If you can easily achieve your goals, you're never going to give your brain the chance to open up and work through neuroplasticity. Why would your brain ever grow if you never break it down, right? The brain and muscles are different, but this kind of concept will maybe help you understand it further. When people work out or they're lifting, stuff like that, they're breaking down their muscles, and through obviously sleep and good nutrition, you build your muscles back up stronger, right? The stresses of breaking it down, just trying to like lift more every single day, lift more weight. Obviously, eating enough protein and sleep is key, but this brain works in similar ways. If you give it enough stress to go through, it will understand how to overcome that the next time. Another way to think about this is the neural circuit, so that the next time we have the capacity to deal with the problem at hand, your neural capacity will adapt in certain ways and open up in certain ways for you to understand the next time this is a subject I need to learn. I apologize if that was slightly confusing, but it is important to understand, I guess, the recap of that. Stress is necessary. You need to go through it, whether you like it or not. Choosing a hard enough goal will be beneficial for you in the long term. The next segment is going to make people slightly angry, maybe upset, and maybe give me some discredit, but apologize. Let me get some water, as we are going to be diving deep, heavier. Thank you. But yes, as I said, this next segment is going to make a lot of people angry, but I want to dispel a very common myth that people tend to have. And that is that if you write down your goal or put on your phone, wallpaper, fridge, or anywhere that maybe see the bathroom mirror or whatever it is, anywhere where you see it consistently every single day, you're more likely to achieve that goal. I know people that maybe have a journal, and the first page is, their goal is like make $1 million or whatever it is, right? And it's the only thing they see every single day in the same place. And it turns out, through scientific literature, obviously, that I've read and listened to through people that are way smarter than me, is that that's not true. And the reason being is, it's because your eyes and your visual system to adapt. Humans, the brain, your body is extremely, extremely smart, and it will adapt to your environment. So, having a visual reminder all the time where you stare at it, it diminishes the return on wanting to actually achieve that goal. And let me explain this kind of further so you understand. If you want a visual reminder, you should move that reminder to new spots or new places every day. So let's say that if you have a visual reminder, let's say on your phone, it's your wallpaper, it's going to get repetitive, and your visual, your system is going to see that, and it's going to start to like fade it away, maybe block it out of your kind of line of thinking. If it's there, if you see it every single day, we're going to adapt to that and not really focus on it. There's a very good segment in this podcast coming up later where I'm going to give in-depth detail on how your actual whole visual system works and how to actually manipulate your brain into focusing better on certain things using your visual system. So I'll go into that a little bit later, but for current, where we're at currently, it's actually not beneficial to have something written down in the same place every day. If you have a visual reminder, move it around. Let's say you have it on your bathroom mirror every single day. you wake up and you see that, you should maybe write a new one. That will help you a lot more. Is that every single day you write a new reminder about your goal and you put it somewhere else, maybe in your car or in your desk or anywhere that you're going to be reminded of it, but just a new reminder. Don't use the same one because your system will eventually start to like fade it out as if it wasn't there in the first place. Now, the second myth I want to dispel is something that a lot of people may or may not believe. I'm going to take a quick sip of water. Excuse me. I am currently getting over a sickness, so please be safe out there. I know that, COVID is still around and there's a lot of people getting sick, so please be careful, with that. Okay, so the next one is, don't tell people your goals before you start working on them. And the reason is, it gives your brain a shot of dopamine. So if you think about, let's say, I'm going to go tell my mom that I'm going to start a new business tomorrow. I have a great idea. She's going to come back and say, hey, son, I believe in you. That's great. That right there is going to hinder my performance and maybe not allow me to achieve that set goal, because where it's coming from is when we tell people things and we get the affirmation of, yes, I believe in you, yes, go do it, it gives us a little shot of dopamine that makes us feel a little bit good inside. Like, oh man, yeah, I feel like I've already taken steps even though I've done nothing. I feel like I've taken steps and I've already achieved some part of that goal. When people believe in us, it's a little bit harder to climb that mountain per se. Whereas, it may be better to tell, excuse me, it may be better to tell somebody who doesn't believe in you that you're going to achieve a goal, and maybe they say, yeah, you'll never achieve that goal. You're not going to get there, as this triggers a part of the brain of, I need to prove this person wrong, or I need to prove myself right so that this person cannot tell me that I can't do something. And if any of my friends are watching this, they know this firsthand, that I will literally do anything that anybody says I cannot do. I've had numerous instances. I'll give an example here. There's this game, just recently, actually. I'm quite embarrassed to tell the story, but I'll tell it anyways. There's this game called Overwatch 2, and there's different ranks in there. There's like a bronze, silver, gold, diamond, or platinum, diamond, master, grandmaster, right? Like they're the highest ranks. And in this set game, I was maybe like a platinum player. I was like in the middle of the pack. And my friend said, you can't achieve the top rank, which is like, master or grandmaster. And when he said that to me, I quite literally took it to heart, and I played that game for 12 hours straight, went to sleep, woke up the next day, and played that game again. This is crazy. The second day when I woke up, I did not even eat. I didn't even drink that much water. I think I had a glass of water when I woke up. I went straight to the computer, didn't go outside, didn't even eat. I didn't even feel hungry. I just wanted to prove him wrong. I just wanted to be able to do that so bad. And maybe that's just a personal experience. Maybe not everybody is like that, but I will say that through scientific literature and through personal experience, I can say that negative motivation tends to help people achieve goals better than sometimes positive motivation does. At least when you're starting, when you're getting off the ground, I think this is more beneficial for that. I guess a less scientific term, a way to remember this would be loose lips Sorry. Couldn't get that one out. Loose lips sink ships. That's an easy way to kind of remember this. Don't be talking all the time. Otherwise, your ship is going to sink. Another way to help motivation and to help the overall pursuit of your goal and achieving your goal is using your negative thinking as fuel. And I just said how, if you tell somebody they can't do something, they're more likely to achieve it, just like I did for my story. But you can also do this for yourself. You don't need an external person to help you, go through this. Again, I sincerely apologize. I am extremely sick. I'm going to get through this. I promised myself I would get through this. Maybe I'll cut out the times I cough, even though there'll be quite the editing feat. However, I think this is important, and maybe the raw edits people will appreciate. But back to motivation. Well, like I said, you don't need an external person to tell you can do something to be able to achieve it. You can actually do this yourself. Ask yourself, do I want to achieve this goal? And I hope the answer is yes, obviously. And if it is yes, that I want you to visualize your failure. And through scientific literature, we've been able to kind of understand this a little bit better. But, that if you visualize your success all the time, and if you're only, visualizing the positive outcomes that will occur when you go out to achieve your goals, that you may not achieve it as to opposed if you visualize maybe just even 1 to 5 minutes a day, just even 1 minute a day. If you thought about all the repercussions what would happen, all the negative things, your failure, everything that happens, if you think about all of that just for 1 minute a day, you are extremely more likely to achieve your goal. The reason is, when you're visualizing the repercussions and how terrible you will feel if you don't achieve it, you'll have a better chance because of those outcomes are things that will quite literally scare the inside of our bodies and our brains that say, oh man, this would be terrible. This is going to be an example I'm going to give you guys. So I'm sorry I blabbered on a little bit at the end right there, but let me give you a solid example here. Personally, me, and also this is, you guys can look up the late, great Kobe Bryant, but he didn't actually like winning as much as he hated losing. And you can see this a lot with people, a lot of Olympic athletes or highly successful people, is that, winning is just like the requirement. It's like the bare minimum. But losing just feels so detrimental that they just never want to feel that again. Ask anybody how it feels to lose in the finals or the championship game, or get to their business, about to sell it and they fail. It is 10 times worse than, feeling the joy of winning. Obviously, the joy of winning is to be fantastic, but the thought of losing and the feeling of losing is just so awful that people tend to just perform better. The next topic is choosing your hard. And this is probably the most important part for a lot of people, because I think this is what separates a lot of people from actually going towards their goals or just not even attempting it in the first place. There are two pains in life: the pain of suffering and the pain of regret. Now, from studies and also from personal experience, the pain of regret is one of by far the worst things we can experience in this game we call life. Short or extended periods of suffering are worth it. Please trust me on this. When you experience suffering and hardships, you're building resistance to difficult. You are building resistance to difficult tasks. As I mentioned previously, choosing hard goals and neuroplasticity, it is good to do that, which also increases your likelihood of achieving said goals. When you choose the other pain, the pain of regret, there is likely no actionable item you can do to cover the pain of regret. It is something that you should have done. Instead, you chose a vice to replace the suffering that you would have experienced to gain the outcome you wanted. Let's say you wanted to, I wanted to start this podcast. I wanted to be consistent. I wanted people to learn from my experiences and, allow me to share my experiences and life lessons so that you guys don't make the same mistakes I did and you guys can learn and be better than I am. I, for the rest of my life, would be always questioning what if. You'd be eating in the back of my head, what if. So I'm doing it now. As you guys are seeing now, I'm going for it. You can do this maybe if you're a teenage boy. You can use the example of, you wanted to ask that girl out. You wanted to say, hey, I like you, whatever it is. I want to ask you to this dance, or maybe I wanted to, take you out to a movie or something, right? Whatever it is. Next week, you see her off with the dude who had the courage to ask her out, and now they're living a happy life as a couple together. But that could have been you. But now you have to live with the pain of regret. The pain of, I didn't do it. I was scared. I couldn't jump into something. I couldn't commit to it. And that pain is tough. You can't do anything about it. They're gone. They're living their lives, and you have to live with the pain and regret because you weren't able to make that decision to go ahead and do it and suffer of the maybe possible embarrassment you would have felt by going to ask her out or whatever it is. But this leads me to my next point, which kind of piggybanks off of this in terms of suffering and regret, which is dopamine. And dopamine is one of the most powerful tools in goal setting and goal achieving. Dopamine is so important. I could have an entire episode on this, just one subject, dopamine. But I'm going to try and fit most of, it in this small section here where you can kind of understand it a little bit better. So dopamine is the molecule of motivation, and it is extremely valuable. You need to use dopamine wisely, as it can also be the reason why you are not able to achieve your goals. If you, let's say, reward yourself every time you finish an hour or two of homework, or, you go for a run and you say, I want to go eat a piece of candy, or I'm going to go have a cheat meal, or whatever it is, you finish a piece of work and you come home and you're like, man, that was a tough day at work. I'm going to go ahead and drink a beer, right? Or a couple, right? You're going to diminish both the potency of that reward and your motivation of that over time. You should only reward yourself after completing the long-term goal. So let's say, your goal was to run that 6-minute mile, right? As we mentioned earlier, you wanted to run that 6-minute mile, and let's say you train 6 days a week, and you're like, damn, I'm training every single day. I want to eat, some candy, but in the back of your mind that you shouldn't be eating that candy because you need to lose some weight so you can be able to, reach that goal of running a 6-minute mile. Obviously, everybody's circumstances differ, but for the sake of this argument, let's say that, every single day you're rewarding yourself. Well, you're trying to just hurting your return. Your motivation is going to start to lack over time because you're just rewarding yourself in these small little increments every single time. And, that motivation is not going to last forever. It's the same kind of way of thinking, putting the visual reminder is that you're kind of just going to block it out over time. We're just seeing it so consistently. You're seeing that the dopamine hit every single time. There's a whole different issues and lanes I can get into with this, like, addiction and stuff like that, where dopamine really is the main driver and factor in a lot of these issues. But for the sake of this and sake of obviously time, I'm going to just keep it at this. You shouldn't be rewarding yourself after every single time you take a step towards your goal or even achieve your goal. The reward for achieving your goal should just be that you did it, feeling the accomplishment of doing something that you said you were going to do, but if you do need some help, maybe say like you want to go out for that cheat meal, I'm not saying every day you should always be, every day you need to not give yourself anything, right? If you need to, you should try this tactic called intermittent reinforcement. And this is a tactic that's actually used by casinos. Sorry, let me backtrack for a second. Random intermittent reinforcement. This is a tactic used by all the casinos, and it's actually quite powerful in the way it works. And I would advise you that if you do need some sort of motivation, or you do need some sort of that candy or drink or whatever it is, that you try to use this instead. So let's say every time you train and you want to reward yourself, maybe by going out, getting a meal, watching a movie, whatever it is, and you want to reward yourself, you should flip a coin. And if it lands on heads, go ahead, enjoy yourself with whatever it is, that movie or meal. But if it lands on tails, don't reward yourself. This way, whether you're getting rewarded or not, your brain will tell yourself to at least try, to have the opportunity to actually maybe do it. This is kind of the way, going there playing roulette. Oh man, I could make it if I tried putting on red or black, I could hit it. And it's the same way, but at least this way you're going towards your goals, you're working on yourself, and that you're not always counting on that, that reward, but you could get it. So why not try? And so that's a better way of kind of going to reward yourself than if, let's say, oh man, every single day I went out, so I'm going to go out and reward myself for doing the things I was supposed to do anyways for that. The next point is going to be time blocking. And more specifically, I would say we're going to be talking about the middle problem, which is where a lot of people get stuck. This is where they start a goal, and they have a bunch of motivation. We all know these people where, they're going to say they do something, they have a bunch of motivation. This was me a while ago too. I'm not going to say I was exempt for this. I was this person as well. They have a bunch of motivation. When they start a goal, they've been hustling every day. They put in a bunch of work, and then, towards the middle, they start to phase out a little bit. Or, it's people that, started a goal heavy, went through the lump for a middle, and then at the end of the goal, they see the tunnel, the end of light in the tunnel, and they're like sprinting towards the end. They find a bunch of motivation to finish the end because they see the end. They're like, all right, I got this. I'm going to finish this. I'm almost there. This is called the middle problem. And it's a dangerous place to be because this is where we see most people often stray from their goals. This occurs, sometimes or a lot of times for people after their first big failure in their goal pursuit. I'm going to try and give you guys some resources to try and get over this hump. But just so you guys understand is when people reach this middle problem, they often think, slightly negative, which I thought, I spoke about earlier, which should be helping you to reinforce a little bit. But when they think about this negative, they think about it for a short period of time, and they often think about the positives of not doing it. So instead of thinking about what will happen if I don't do this and thinking negatively about it, they think positively about what would happen if they didn't do it. The things like, I wouldn't have the stress on me anymore. You know, I can go back to like relaxing at home. I can go back to watching that TV show. You know, if they're supposed to be doing assignment, they're going to go days off on TikTok or something like that instead of going ahead and achieving said goal. And so that's where I want people to really go back to thinking of the negative stuff of what will happen, you know, instead of thinking positively about not achieving said goal. If that makes sense. And again, if you guys have any questions about anything I'm talking about, please, you know, type it down in the comments. I will try to respond to everybody. You know, I'm a small channel, so I'm sure I won't get that many, but I would love to respond to everybody if possible within this. But the first protocol to help with like the middle problem is called tunnel vision. And, you know, some of you are probably saying, oh, I know what that is. You know, I know exactly what tunnel vision is. It's, you know, you're locked in. And yeah, you're right, but there's a science behind it, and you may not fully understand why I'm saying this. So this is where I was going back to your visual system, as I brought up earlier, and how magic our body is, you know, and how we can kind of manipulate, you know, our ways and how smart we are. So your eyes have a function, and everybody's born with this. Your eyes have a function called panoramic and tunnel vision. And there's obviously technical terms to those, but for the simplicity of this video and for people to understand, your eyes have two functions. You know, there's not just two functions, but two functions that you can use for this specific thing is panoramic and tunnel vision. And you can think of like panoramic as if like you're driving a car. You know, you're just looking at the landscape. You can see around you. You can see, you know, a bunch of things. You're not just focused on one specific point, right? You're just kind of observing the whole area. Panoramic. It's pretty self-explanatory. Tunnel vision is where you're looking at a specific point, whether it's a word or a page on a word, whatever it is, or maybe you're like a soccer goalie, right? Sorry to all my European friends. I know I call it soccer. It's football. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong as well, but bear with me. It's where you like specific on a specific point. So like, let's say you're a goalie and, you know, the ball is coming towards you and you're watching the ball, you know, where's it coming? Your focus, your tunnel vision on that. All your focus is on this specific point. Your entire body is firing at all cylinders to try to stop this ball. You're trying to, you know, get around. That right there is tunnel vision. And it is a very powerful tool for going ahead and trying to achieve said goals. So the way you can kind of think about this is in scientific literature, you can kind of see that when people are focusing on that one goal, when the ball is coming to somebody in your goal and you're watching it, all of your senses get kind of heightened. You know, your brain wakes up to a point. You know, it's like a taking a sip of coffee without even having to have a sip of coffee. You're more alert when you're focused on that one specific point, whether it's a page on a word on a page, or you're a soccer ball, or, you know, football, whatever it is, you know, in life, or, you know, food, whatever it is. You're specifically looking at one point. Your brain kind of turns on, you know, you're dialing in, and it activates like alertness and arousal in the brain to where point you're awake and motivated-ish, and, you know, you're a little bit more active, if you would say. And when you switch to panoramic, your brain kind of turns off a little bit. It's not as like active or awake. It's not as sharp as you would say. And so to piggyback off of this, the reason why I want you to understand tunnel vision is because it can also help you enter a state called flow state. And so many people know this. There are loads and loads of YouTube videos out there, and if after this video you want to go watch a specific video on flow state, I would highly recommend it, because it is one of the best things you can do to help achieve all of your goals, is entering that flow state. Some of the best performers in the world, the highest performers in the world in business, sports, whatever it is, they are all able to activate that flow state, on command almost. Like, okay, I need to get this work done. I need to go train. Flow state. I'm locked in. I'm not moving. This is what I'm doing. You go back to that story about that video games. Again, not proud of it, but I was in flow state. That was my goal. I didn't care about anything else. I wasn't even thinking about anything else. My whole focus was, how can I achieve this goal that is mine? I wanted to achieve this goal so bad that nothing else around me, I'm not even like remotely thinking about. It's just one goal. You often hear, people say, I play sports or I go to the gym. That's the only time I forget about all my problems, or it's when they're entering a focus state. When I'm going into train mixed martial arts, I'm going to study for my exam, whenever it's entering their flow state. A lot of men, I guess, get this way. I can't speak for everybody, obviously everybody can be included in this, but when you're focusing on one thing and you're tunnel visioning on it, it kind of eliminates the noise in your brain. And maybe you guys can understand this too, but whatever you're passionate about. For me, it's basketball. I work all day. I have so much noise, left and right, texts, calls all day, emails, my assistant's calling me. I got emails coming in. I got to manage clients, a bunch of stuff every single day. I always feel chatter. Even when I'm working, it's like chatter in the back of my head. And then as soon as I pick up basketball, it's like silence. I don't hear all this like noise in my head. And I don't know if this makes sense for a lot of people. And hopefully, you guys kind of understand what I'm talking about. Maybe whether it's, going to the gym or, writing's your thing, or painting's your thing, right? Whatever it is creatively. Where you just don't hear that noise anymore in your head, that pressure or whatever it is, that voice in the back of your head. You're just kind of like, it's like a breath of fresh air. And that's something maybe you'd be passionate about, but when you get to there, you kind of have like a self-flow state in that ways. Nothing else really kind of matters around you. You're just focusing on that one thing. And I hope that everybody can kind of try and achieve this with whatever aspect they're trying to in life. But yes, like I said, I did not give the best explanation on flow state, but I hope you guys can kind of understand where I'm trying to go with all this, and where you guys can find that one thing that helps eliminate the noise of everyday life, all the stress you guys have in life, of trying to find that one thing you could focus on, tunnel vision on, where you're blocking out all the rest of the noise. It's like wearing noise canceling headphones. When I go pick up a basketball, it's like, boom, can't hear anything else. I feel at peace. I feel at one with my task that's in front of me. The next piece I'm going to get to, which is kind of going off that, is productivity apps. And there's one that's actually the best, and everybody who has a phone actually has it already installed on their phone. And you're probably like, what? How do I have this productivity app already installed on my phone? And this is going to help you with obviously tackling that middle problem, like I said earlier. There are tons of apps. There's tons of apps. I'm sure some of them are absolutely great, and people have probably spent countless hours developing them, making sure that their app is head and shoulders above the rest, that, their app's going to help you stay on track and hit your goals or whatever it is, right? But there's one app, or it's not even really an app, it's just a feature that's better than everything else, and it's called Airplane Mode. Airplane Mode is the best productivity app you have on your phone. It's shutting everything off. Your phone is going to be one of your biggest distractions when you're trying to achieve your goals. Obviously, if you work on your phone, it's a different story. But, obviously, if you're working on something, you want to do it like, training outside with your equipment, or if you're working on a laptop, maybe put your phone away, and don't have messages or notifications enabled on your laptop, but, keep it separate. But your phone is just the biggest distraction you have. And for most people, they can't seem to just stop, picking up. I'm guilty of this as well. Like I'll pick up my phone, like, oh man, another notification, I'm trying to get back to work, and it's like, oh, I'm working, about to get into flow state, about to hit that tunnel vision, that blocking out the noise. I'm getting there, and then boom, it's a text from somebody or a new Twitter update or whatever it is. There's just, in the email or whatever. It's best to just try to put it all away. And obviously, some people, you'd want to warn people before, obviously close family, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, I'm going to go work at the library for 2 hours. This is where I'm at. My phone's going to be off, right? Whatever it is, just something to get that distraction away from you, so you're able to enter into that flow state or that work state uninterrupted and fully immersed into that one thing. Another thing that has helped me a lot with productivity is audio. And believe it or not, there is a lot of scientific literature that backs this up, which is quite interesting because I actually started doing this before I even read about this. I've been doing audio cues for a long time now, and I just recently discovered that it's a real thing and people actually use it to help them, achieve their goals. And audio is one of your major senses. Listening is one of your major senses. Eyes, touch, hearing, there's your senses, but audio is a very, very big portion of that, and is incredibly important for getting tasks done and achieving your goals. Now, most people hate that that song, that alarm, typical iPhone alarm song, right? Whatever it is, the beep, 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 whatever it is. You guys know what I'm talking about. I could play it on screen for you guys, but you guys would probably dislike the video if I did. But that annoying alarm clock in the morning that everybody knows, that sound is terrible. It just, if you play it right now, you probably get stressed out just even hearing it. But they associate that sound with waking up and having to go to work, and people experience unpleasant things, and they have some sort of animosity towards that sound. Now, you can actually use that same feeling and put it into a positive way. So, if you have some sort of, lo-fi music or any music that's not too distracting, while you're working towards your goals, you'll be more likely to achieve that said goal. Now, the problem occurs is that if you play that same type of music while you're getting ready, or maybe on the car on the way to work, it will diminish that effect of music. Same way we talked about the visual. If you keep putting it in the same spot, your body's gonna kind of diminish it out of what it's intended for, right? It's not gonna have the same effect as you would want. Now, the reason why this is important is because if you play this, all the time, let's say while you're getting ready, you're in the car, while you're going to try to work, you're not going to associate that same sound with focus and getting locked in, right? If I'm playing lo-fi music only when I'm working, I only want to play it when I'm working or when I'm trying to get into the mindset of working, when I'm entering that state of trying to work. And by doing that, you are allowing yourself to kind of give a fully immersed state of mind into, this is my mindset, this is where I need to go. My whole body is shifting gears, my visual system, my audio system, my entire body is shifting gears into getting ready to do work. This is the best reference I can give to this is when you see people in the gym, there's that, if you guys ever see that funk music, I don't know if you guys know what that is, but funk music, really aggressive, hype music, right? And you see a lot of people using this, right before they hit a personal record, they're trying to go for their max lift, on their bench, I'm going to hit these 3 or 4 plates, it's my biggest lift. I'm getting amped up, I'm getting ready. People use sniffing salts, they're using the other senses of sniffing. I wouldn't recommend that. That is, I don't know how safe that is. Obviously, you guys can do your own research on that, but people get in the mode, they put on their music extra loud, and they're like, oh, aggressive. I'm going to push this weight as hard as I can. I'm going to hit this lift. And they struggle maybe, but they hit it, right? The same thing applies. They're playing that aggressive music to like get their whole body ready, their audio cues, their mind ready. Like, I need to be as aggressive and push this weight as hard as possible, right? But if they kept playing that music over and over again, like maybe at home, maybe while they're going to sleep, right? Or I don't know why you listen to that while you're going to sleep, but if you did, it would kind of diminish the effect that song has on when you're trying to actually exert as much force out of your body as possible. It's just not the same as if you just listened to it only when you needed that energy and that push to get there, right? So now we talked about kind of the middle problem, how to solve that. We went through cues and tools and we busted some myths. Now we are onto the part of consistency. This is the most important part of this entire podcast. And I hope that if you're still listening, you're here and you stay attentive for this last part. And if you just get to this part now, I'm glad you're here, and hopefully you please watch the rest of this thing through and go back and later watch the rest of the video as well. Before we start, I'm going to take a quick sip of water because we already get very in depth here. Man, I'm struggling. I please hope that everybody stays safe out there. It is not looking good. People, please be safe and make sure you guys hydrate, eat healthy. I want you guys all to live a long, healthy life. So please make sure you guys are drinking water and taking care of you guys yourselves, getting physical activity in. Okay. Here we go. I say the best for last. This one tool can get you absolutely anything you want in life. And there's nothing that quite comes close to it. Almost every single successful person in the world has used this tool, ranging from like Kobe Bryant or LeBron James, always like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. All these people, all the highly successful people, even the average people that, have success, they all use consistency. If there's nothing else you took from this podcast, just please use this one thing, and I guarantee you it will make a huge impact on your life. You'll see tremendous strides in whatever you're trying to do. Now, for a lot of people, this is easier said than done, and like anything else in life, it is always easier said than done. But let's say you start your journey on goal pursuit, and you feel really good for the first few days. You're working hard on your goal. And then, you're like, man, on day 5, you feel really tired. Maybe you went out the day before. And then maybe, you go out and you're like, I'm going to push through it. Day 6 goes by. You keep it on it. Day 7, you're like, man, I went out the other day. I'm going to have sleep. I'm just, today I'm just going to rest. Maybe you drank the day before and you're like, it's one day off, My goal was to work on it every single day. But I can, what's one day off? I can afford one day off, right? I just started this goal and I've been good for like 6-7 days now. I can take one off. But you said your goal was to work on it every single day. Even though it's maybe 1 minute a day. You could still, 1 minute a day is not going to take up much time, But you said you were going to do it every single day, but you didn't. You took a day off. And in that exact moment is when you lost. You failed at your goal on day 7 because you got tired, right? And most people fail at this is because when they start negotiating with themselves. You can't negotiate with yourself when you're trying to be consistent. There's no half consistent. Either you are consistent or you are not consistent. And I'll try and push this in a way where you have to work every single day of your life. Maybe you plan for that day off, But if your goal is to work every single day, then you should be doing it. But if you're consistently saying, hey, I'm working 6 days, I'm taking 1 day off, and you're consistently doing that, that's perfectly fine. But as long as you are consistent, you cannot be half in, half out. There is no half consistency. There either is consistency or there is not consistency. That makes sense. And that applies to everything in life: training, working in business, school, relationships, your girlfriend and boyfriend, your significant other. You can't be in a half relationship. You have to commit to this person fully, and that person should be committing to you fully. And if you're not committing 100%, it's not there. It's not 50% relationship, 50% relationship. It's both people are 100%. I'm 100% and she's 100%, or whatever it is. You guys are both 100%. Now, there's like tools and people, different categories and stuff like that you can kind of use to help people practice consistency that I think will help everybody. One of them is called the 75 hard challenge. And for those of you who don't know what 75 hard is, it's where for 75 days, you work out twice a day, 45 minutes, you read 10 pages of a nonfiction book, you take a progress photo, and a couple other things, but I'm not sure. It's a bunch of things you do for 75 days straight, and you have to do it every single day, no matter what. And it just teaches you how to be consistent. The point of the challenge is to complete those tasks every day. But the reason is just to teach yourself how to be consistent more than anything else. Doing the things that you don't want to do, no matter how you feel that day. Like I said, you went out the night before. You said you were going to do your 75 hard. You were going to work out twice a day. Man, I'm tired. I feel like shit. Doesn't matter. You committed to 75 hard. For 75 days, you must complete those tasks. And all that does is just really just teach you consistency. That's it. And so for anybody that's struggling with this in whatever aspect in life, whether it's, finishing all your school assignments, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's showing up for your partner every single day, I challenge you to do the 75 hard, because it will teach you. It not only will get you in like good shape and, build some good, habits out of that, but more importantly, it'll teach you to be consistent in every aspect in your life, which is extremely important. Another key point I want to bring up is a lot of people lose purpose, or they don't love the journey. And I want to give a quick story about this, because I think this is really important and people will understand it better from a story perspective than they will from just me throwing hard facts out there. It'll be more interesting for you as well, probably. So personally, this is going to be, for a lot of people, just, you're probably gonna be like, what is this guy talking about? But for me, this is a very important part of my life. In high school, I was very fortunate to have really great coaches, like really, really good coaches that pushed me to the absolute max. I have an episode coming out with my good friend Ronnie, who's in the Marines, and he compared, our workouts in high school to being in the military, but they pushed me extremely hard. And at the time, I just hated it. I was like, in the summer, we're going to work out in the mornings. We're going to go lift weights. Then we go practice. We're going to go practice all day. And then we're going to go play like 2 games against other teams, summer league games. And then we're going to come back and do like walkthroughs or workouts after that. So like every single day, this was like 5-6 days a week. In the summer, we're going to like work out, practice, go play games all on the same day, and then wake up the next day and do it all again. I was like, I love basketball, but why am I doing this over and over again? I hate this. It wasn't until later on in life that I realized that that was extremely important for me, and I actually enjoyed the grind, but I didn't understand it until later on in life. But I enjoyed that journey so much. I wish to this day that I could go back to that time period and grind. I wish I worked harder. I was always trying to like find the easiest way out to do these workouts because it was so intense. Obviously, I was a kid, but I wish now that I could go back and appreciate the journey before it was over. And it's the same thing for you guys. If you guys are trying to achieve the work in this business, I guarantee, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, when you guys are years down the line, when you guys are older, you guys are going to, sit back and be like, man, remember when we used to go do this? That was crazy. I can't believe I went to go do that. I was working 10 hours in the office. I could barely sleep, but man, that struggle was like the best time of my life. That's where the stories are made. Loving the journey, finding a purpose within the journey. It's not always about the end. Obviously, you have goals, but you have to love and appreciate the journey so that when you do achieve your goals, you can still have purpose. And so I really challenge you guys that no matter what struggle you guys are going through in your business, life, partner, relationship, whatever it is, appreciate the struggles. Understand that those struggles will help make you into the person you want to become. And those struggles will help you in every aspect in life. So embrace them. Sorry, I went on a little bit of tangent there, but I truly mean that. That was a very important part of my life, and I never really even told anybody until this exact moment on this podcast. So you guys are the first ones to hear this, but I appreciated all my coaches, my uncles, even my dad, who pushed me. He pushed me day in and day out every single day. And I was so young, he wanted me to be a good basketball player. And now all I can do is say, I'm sorry, Dad. Like, I wish I was more attentive. I wish I listened to you more when I was younger. I wish I worked harder when I was younger because I had the ability to get to another level. And I didn't achieve that because I wasn't understanding of the vision. Obviously I was a kid, but I didn't appreciate the journey. And if I would have appreciated the journey and the struggle, I'm sure I would have been in a better position. But here we are, and we live and we learn, and we're making it through. Another tool to help you visualize consistency is this quote. And I've heard this quote. I don't know who said this, but if you've heard this quote, please leave it in the comment section below. This is a quote I live by. I hope that all of you guys will take to heart as well. This will help you try to stay consistent. Also help you visualize staying consistent as well. You cannot jump in and out of complacency. When you jump in and out of complacency, you never gain momentum. And you need momentum to break free. You need momentum compounding over and over again to get your goals, right? When a rocket is flying to the moon to escape the atmosphere, it doesn't pause halfway up, does it? Sorry, I did break that quote up. I'll say it again in full so you guys can get it. And then I'll explain my synopsis after. Here it is. You cannot jump in and out of complacency. When you jump in and out of complacency, you never gain momentum, and you need momentum to break free. When a rocket ship is flying to the moon to escape the atmosphere, it doesn't pause halfway up, does it? No. And the reason why I love this quote is because it's true. Imagine you're the rocket ship, and your goal is the moon, right? Let's say that your goal is to run that 6-minute mile. I know I keep bringing up the 6-minute mile, but whatever it is, just apply this to your own life and business, right? Relationships, whatever it is. Your goal is to reach that 6-minute mile, and you're the rocket ship. You start off strong, you're burning your fuel, you're getting off the ground, and then you feel like, one day I want to take off. I don't feel so good. And then you keep going, you're still burning fuel, getting high up in the air. And then you're like, man, I'm not feeling good this day, and then tomorrow I have a birthday party, so I'm going to take off. You just fall. You're falling back to the earth, and you're burning up because your goal was to the moon. That's reaching your 6-minute mile. But all you did was you started super strong, you went up, you're doing it, and you're like, I don't feel like doing it. You can't. That's not what consistency is. That's jumping in and out. And when you jump in and out, you're not going to get with the momentum to break out of the Earth's atmosphere and reach your goal, which is the moon. That's the whole point of consistency. When you're not consistent, you're half consistent, you're never going to reach your goals. It's just not possible. Ask any successful person how important consistency is, and I guarantee you all of them are going to tell you it's one of the most important aspects in their entire lives. Another great quote is, and this is from a very controversial person, and I'll put it in quotes, so I know people may hate him or love him, and I'm not saying I agree or disagree with any of his statements or who he is, but this quote is something that you guys should listen to. And it's just owning accountability for your actions. You are the only person it's getting late in this podcast, as you guys can see, but here we go. You are the only person that can make this work. And you are also the only person that can F this up. Obviously, I can't say the full word, but you guys get the point. You are the only person. Now, obviously, I'm excluding like, oh man, tragedy, death, sudden accidents, stuff like that. But even then, you are the only person that can make it work. Think about that. No one cares about your life, as much as you do. You're also the only person that can mess this up. Don't be that person that allows it to mess up. You can make it work. And you can also be the reason why it doesn't work. You control both paths. And when you're jumping in and out, you're choosing the path of messing it up. So those are just some things I live by. And over the past year or so, they've helped me in losing 25 pounds. I used to be overweight, and I didn't see any results until I started just being consistent, drinking more water, eating whole foods, like real whole foods, getting my protein in, working out every single day for the first, I would say like 6 months, not 6 months, say 4.5 months. For the first 4.5 months, I made a commitment to myself only for 1 month. I actually said, I said for the first month, I'm going to work out every single day. 7 days a week, every single day I worked out. And it helped me tremendously because I ended up doing that for 4 months or over 4 months. And I didn't even mean to do that. Obviously, I would say take your rest days, but for me, I was so driven by that point. I built in the consistency in my life where I was like, I'm doing this no matter what. Even if I showed up for 10 minutes, even if I showed up for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it was. Sometimes I went 5 hours a day, going to play basketball 2 hours, gym for 2 hours, going back to the gym, whatever it was. I did it every single day for almost 4 months. I lost 25 pounds. I look like shit, You guys can go look at my old Instagram photos or even just see me like, I can maybe host one here for you guys, but it depends. But I look terrible. I looked absolutely terrible. I was losing myself, losing a shit ton of hair. Still am working on it though. Losing just everything about me that I wanted to be. And I had to change. And so the only way that got me through it was just being consistent. And moving on from that, obviously I hope you guys found powerful lessons in there and were able to take something from that and apply it to your own lives. Remember, there's nothing else you do. If you don't like this video, subscribe, whatever it is. I hope you just apply consistency to your life. That's it. I hope that from this one video, one thing you get is just apply consistency to your life. And I promise you, it will change everything. Something else to help you guys along with this is the circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm. So believe it or not, your body has a internal clock, and it times your day. Have your clock during the day, 8 a.m., whatever. Your body also has a clock inside, and it helps when you do things at certain times of the day. For example, if you wake up and do certain tasks every day at the same time, your body will adjust to that. So let's say every day you go work out at 9 a.m. And after a week or so, or a couple of weeks, your body will be more resilient and prepared at that specific time to go do that specific task. So let's say that every day you take a nap around 1 p.m. And then, let's say, a couple of days you're like, I can't take a nap at 1 p.m. anymore because, I have certain work, I got a new job, whatever it is. I can't take a nap at 1 p.m. anymore. Well, what's going to happen is that when 1 p.m. rolls around and you're not used to that taking a nap, you're going to hit that wall hard. Like, you're going to crash and you're going to be like, I can't stay awake. I need coffee. I need triple espresso shot, whatever it is. You're going to hit that wall and it's going to be tough. So your body has an internal clock. And so if you want to start your tasks or hitting your goals, plan it out. Be like, hey, I'm going to bed at this time every single day. I'm waking up at this time. And at this time, 3 p.m., whatever it is, I'm going to work from, 3 to 5 on this task. And then your body will start to say, hey, at 3 p.m. every day, I'm getting this little boost of energy to head and, go through my day. That's why people go work out in the mornings. They feel energized throughout the day. They hit their goals. They hit their, circadian rhythm. They're working out in the mornings. They're ready for their day. Right? So use that to your advantage, whatever it is. If you want to go complete your task, make sure you're being consistent throughout your days. Again, consistency, even in circadian rhythm, to plan that for your days. A couple of little things here before we close up. We're going to be reaching the end here, but a couple of little things, closing notes for you guys, so you guys can kind of use these little tools and things I picked up along the way. I've been planning, like I said, this podcast for weeks now. I have literally over 30 pages of literature and stuff I've gone through and pages I've written just for this specific podcast. And these are some things I've noted in the last few days that I thought would be important to talk about, just so you guys get a little gist here. So when your back is against a wall, people work better. And the reason why is there's this nothing to lose theory. The most dangerous person in the world is the one that has nothing to lose, because he only has one goal and does not care about the consequences. So when you're back against the wall and you have nothing to lose, you are in the most dangerous position in the world. You are the most dangerous man in the world, or woman, whatever it is, because you have nothing to lose, right? This is oftentimes where we see the underdog winning. He has nothing to lose. People have no expectation of him winning. But when he goes against the champion is expected to win. He's expected to dominate the underdog. But when they face off and the underdog wins, you shouldn't be as surprised as you think. The guy had no expectations. He left it all out there. He has no worry. He has nothing else to lose. He can literally only go up from here. And so sometimes it's okay to put yourself in a position of uncomfortableness and putting yourself against a wall, just to be able to push out of that and make sure that you are that person that has nothing to lose. Go try it, Move to a new city without knowing anybody and try to see how well you perform. I guarantee you, and obviously, please be cautious and be smart about this, but if you're tired where you're at in life, literally just find an apartment, make sure you have try to get some steady income saved up, get an emergency fund set up, but move to this new city. Just do it. If you want to go be a content creator, move to LA or New York City or Miami, whatever it is, right? Just get up, find a place, make sure you have some financial security somewhere just in case, find maybe a job lined up, try to do something, but get up and go. Just take action and then see how well you perform in that new environment. You're just you don't know anybody, you don't know anything around you, you don't really have the best security around you, you know what I'm saying? You don't have any friends or family. Your instincts will kick in and you will literally perform a lot better than you would if you were just sitting at home being comfortable, right? This is the nothing to lose theory. And I hope you guys try to apply this as much as possible. The next thing and the last thing I want to talk about is the house method and then the double E's. So I'll go through the double E's first. This is something that's extremely transformed my life. And the partner I was with before, me and her kind of went back and forth about this a lot. And this is kind of things that we've built that have both helped me be successful as well as her, was the double E's: effective and efficient. So if you can build your systems, right? Let's say like you're building your house, right? That's your system, right? Let's say in business, you're building your system and you want it to be as effective and efficient as possible. And this is where a lot of like Gen Z businesses you see are taking over, because they're a lot more effective and efficient than some older business models are. So when you're doing this is, let's say you're building your system. You don't want to build your system around people. You want your system to be a stagnant thing that you can build, that where no matter who you plug into it or who you take out, the system itself, it still functions well. It's like a moving belt. You know Henry Ford, when he built the moving belt where he assembled cars, it was all effective and efficient. One piece came from here, put it on here, moved down the belt, moved on, put another piece on, moved down the belt, put another piece on, and then eventually you have a car, right? In business and in life, you want to build effective and efficient systems so that no matter what you're doing, you're able to accomplish tasks more effectively and efficiently. Let's say that you are, like myself, working in an agency and you want to have people that are emailing every single day, cold emailing. You want to have people on phone calls. You want to have people that are responding to emails, and you want to have people that are just like, doing general outreach, right? I've built the system inside of my Asana, and basically I have people now that will do those tasks. I've written out how to do them. I've created explainer videos on what to do and what to do in every scenario, just in case, you get this response, this is what you respond to in this case, or you have a wild case of like, this is a crazy rate, what do I respond with this and how do I negotiate? I've created explainer videos, I've created tasks and everything like that to handle all the situations. It took me a long time to make and, obviously go through all those scenarios so that when they do occur, we have a quick and efficient system that my team can rely on to then go ahead and respond to those emails or whatever it is, right? And so you want to apply the same kind of business mindset to everything you do, even life, it's your training, you want to be a better athlete, whatever it is. Create your effective and efficient system so you know what to do in certain scenarios. It may take you a while, but once you do, you can stick to the plan and then be effective and efficient through that whole model. And again, in my business, in my system, even if I fire somebody, I can just plug somebody new in. And they have all the training. It's all there, very easy to read. And if they don't like to read, I made videos on exactly how to do it. It's all visually there for them. So even if they don't like reading, boom. If they don't like watching videos, they can read it. And it's all there effectively, efficiently. I can fire my whole team, hire new people, and then boom, we're all good to go. So I hope you guys can make those effective and efficient systems for yourself and apply that to any aspect of your life. Now, man, this episode flew by. I cannot believe I got through this whole thing. I actually thoroughly enjoyed doing this. I don't know what to say. I've had a lot of fun just sitting here myself with these cameras. I feel like I'm talking to you guys, even though probably no one's really gonna watch this video. I'm gonna keep doing this, and my goal is to do this every single Monday. Upload 7:30 a.m. so that you guys can listen to this, or watch this on your guys' ride to work or school or working out, whatever it is. I want you guys to listen to this on a Monday morning, help you feel through your week. And I can go over anything. So if you guys want me to go over anything at all, leave it down in the comments. I have some episodes planned out, like how to sell and negotiate to anybody. I have, secrets to succeeding on social media. I've helped people gain, millions of followers on social media. Sorry, something just flew in my head. I don't know what that was. Uh, sorry, like I said, I have secrets to succeeding on social media, how to lose fat, gain muscle, very quickly and efficiently. I have topics that I was thinking about on, how to fly and, get cheap deals, stuff like that. It's just a bunch of things, but the main things are like sales, negotiation, social media secrets, how to build an online business, losing fat, gaining muscle, things that I'm kind of more in tune with. I actually have an episode coming up with Andy, who I just talked to today, who I used to play basketball with, who is now a certified bodybuilder, like a pro. And this guy is ripped. And I'm going to have him on here to talk about, all the how to gain muscle, how to be proficient with using your body and stuff like that. I'm super excited for the episode. So if you guys want to see anything else like that, leave it down in the comments and I will try to make any of that happen. But again, thank you everybody for watching. And if you're here till the end, I hope you subscribe, on YouTube or wherever you're listening this to. And I hope you have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.